Hi students, welcome to Module 8. I wanted to start off today really with just a couple of quick things. First of all, the presentations last week, you did a really good job by and large. Working in teams is sometimes difficult. You have difficult people. Sometimes people don't carry their weight. The dynamics of a group that size make it challenging. Also, the time allotted makes it challenging. So all the more reason to kind of get together, rehearse. Just a couple kind of feedback is that when you're doing presentations, don't try to squeeze everything into the presentation. You've got your slides there. Pick out an important point from a slide and go from there. But these forums are really going to be helpful to you because much of your career you're going to need to work in teams and you're going to have challenging people to work with. So this is a good exercise for you, and the more used to teams you get, the better off you're going to be. Second thing was we wanted to give you feedback on the forum discussions. Since the beginning of class, you guys have made great strides. The moderators of the forums are providing really thoughtful and insightful reviews of articles, not just repeating what's in the article, but you're having your own opinions. And the questions that you're posing is really prompting some really good discussion among your teams. And when people are responding, they're also responding to others, which creates the kind of dialogue that really we're looking for in these forums. And mostly what we really want is, what do you think about this? What's your reaction to these articles? And you're doing a really good job with that. Flipgrids, the most recent Flipgrids, you did an excellent job. You're becoming more comfortable presenting in front of a camera. Also, the research that you've done, it's evident that you've done the research, and your responses are very thoughtful. So very good job on that. Next thing is, in this segment, there's course feedback. We really appreciate you providing that feedback. It's instrumental in us when we're designing the course for next time, and also to try to make the course for the rest of the semester as good as we can. So things you'd like to see us do or focus more time on, we're happy to do that. Things that you find interesting, things that you don't find interesting, we're here to help you and also to make this course as rich as we can, because this is a foundational course and the rest of your coursework in this major really will build upon this. So we want you to have a strong foundation. So the feedback you provide us, we take it, even critical feedback, we really appreciate it, and we take it for the gift that it is when you offer it. So thanks for that. There was a table 99 that was in your course pack this time around hospital admissions, and I wanted to just spend a couple of minutes on that because I think it's important. It gives you a baseline for what's happening in healthcare, and it compares 1975 to 2010 statistics, and there's some interesting observations when you go through it. I've kind of gone through it for you and pulled out what I think are some key things, and so I'll list those for you. So one thing is the admissions are flat from 1975 to 2010, even including federal institutions, federal hospitals, and not-for-profit and for-profit. Which is interesting because the population has significantly increased during that time. So you might think, well, what's going on? And what's going on you'll hear in a second. And you probably know that many hospitals are trying to have a lot of the care done outside of hospitals for a whole variety of reasons. Cost is one, but also there's many infections, there's lots of things that go on in hospitals. So to the extent that less acute kind of care can be happening outside the hospitals, it's good for patients. Average length of stay in hospitals has decreased by almost 50% during that time. And that's significant because, again, it's trends that you can see what's going to be happening going forward. More and more care is going on outside of those institutions. And if you can imagine, so a 50% decrease in admissions leads to really a 50% decrease in the amount of revenue that these institutions are getting. And so what do they have, how do they react to that? And how they've reacted is, as you know, many of these institutions have acquired other facilities. And so what they're trying to do is direct acute care to tertiary centers and provide primary care in these other facilities. It's less costly, and also there's expertise that can be centered in one place rather than have specialists in many institutions in the same area. So that's what's happening there also. Outpatient admissions are up almost 400%. So that gives you a big flag in terms of what is happening. There's surgery centers that are built, both owned by groups and owned by hospitals. There's mini emergency departments that are popping up all over the place. They triage care much better than they used to, and this is kind of the wave of the future. One of the questions that I have and that you might have as you think about this is, what's the future for hospitals given all of this? And I think there's always going to be a need for hospitals, particularly for heart care, cancer care, brain surgery, these sort of very highly sophisticated kinds of things. But I think much of that care will be centered around larger institutions. And that's also a trend that we've seen is many of the smaller institutions are closing or being consolidated, and 300 to 500 bed hospitals, which are typically the university centers or larger hospital systems, have been increasing in that same 40-year period. So I think that shift will continue, but I just wanted to pull out some highlights there and give you a little bit of feedback. The final thing I want to mention is Chapter 8 is for bonus points. So when you do the quiz for Chapter 8, that goes directly to bonus points. So it's not something that you're required to do, but I would think an extra 10 points certainly wouldn't hurt. So finally, enjoy your spring break. Be safe, be smart, and we will see you soon. Bye.